I hate talking in front of the camera. I know this sounds pretty funny because I'm talking to you right now in front of the camera. My name is Corné Ladigan, co-founder of BizVideo. The purpose of this podcast is to take you on a journey of how we use story to grow our business. Thank you for joining me today. Now, a little backstory. When I was 13, my family decided we need to pack up everything, move from South Africa all the way to Australia. Now, before this, I was actually 13 years old in grade 7, and I went to an Afrikaans school. I grew up Afrikaans. English was a really small part of my life. We literally just spoke English to people that could not understand Afrikaans, and which was not very much. So maybe once or twice, a month we'll talk English to some people. And I still remember just before we, it was a quick decision because my dad got a job here as a pilot in Melbourne, and he was actually off to Melbourne straight away when the opportunity came up. And then we had 2 months my mum had 2 months to pack up everything, sell the house and everything. And within this 2 months, we actually went to this tutor, an English tutor, and this is the only English that we did. Now, obviously in school, you do learn about English. You've got English as a subject, but seriously, me as a school student, I don't know if you've listened to a lot of my podcasts, but school was not my favorite thing in the world. So even if we had an awesome English class, I didn't really, concentrate too much. So anyway, we went to this tutor, and she taught us a little bit here and there. And thinking back now, it actually just hit me how bad my English actually was. It was just terrible. And the thing is, when we moved, I had this crazy accent. I remember still, when we first moved to Melbourne, people be like, "Oh, you've got an accent," and I always thought in my mind, "But you've got an accent too." Everyone's got an accent. It's just everyone's got a different accent. So it really frustrated me, this whole thing about "Oh, you've got an accent." And then obviously my grammar was just horrible, and it still kind of is. So anyway, so my desire is obviously we're in the business of, creating videos and stories and so on for our clients. And my desire is, to practice what we preach, because that's the worst thing. I mean, if you sell something and you're not confident in what you sell, you're not confident that it brings results to people, and if you're not a practitioner yourself, or you don't use the product or service yourself, then most likely you won't be as convicted. So the biggest reason why I create videos is, for my own conviction, and then also obviously get results for our company, which again builds our conviction even better, and we can sell more and help more people. So the thing though is I really struggle to talk, form sentences and so on, especially when I go right now. If I write something and then the next day I look at it, I'm like, "Corné, what an idiot, how can you write like that?" And the thing is, I've been in Australia for over 18 years now, so 18 and a half years. I did my entire high school, uni degree, and then obviously in business, all in Australia, But just quickly going back to when we first moved to Melbourne, I remember lunchtime I walked past my little sister, and she's 6 years younger than me. So at the time she was 7, right? So grade 1. And I remember walking past her, and she'd be in a little group of little girls, friends, and she would be talking Afrikaans to them. She could not even speak any English. That's how crazy it was. She was speaking Afrikaans, and I'm like, "Carly, you can't speak Afrikaans to them. You've got to speak English. I just remember she couldn't, and she's just smiling and laughing. It was just so cute. Anyway, so just going back to this, so I really struggled to when I first started, thinking about creating video and so on for our business, to help and educate our clients and so on, and to bring value to them. I was super self-conscious. I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I know we need to do this, but I'm self-conscious because I'm scared what people might think of, my accent or the way I form my sentences and so on." And the thing is, I started practicing and so on, and it just didn't really work. Practice. People always say you've got to practice. Repetition makes perfect, and that kind of thing. And it is true. But the thing is, I didn't really find that the case with with videos and so on. And but I just kept going, and then one day I'm like, we're doing a lot of videos for our clients and so on, and it's actually funny how our own self-image is so warped in our own mind. It's crazy, because the thing is, I don't know about you, but when you talk to someone and they go, oh, I don't speak too well, or I'm not good enough at this, and then in your mind you're like, no, you're crazy, don't worry about it, like you're perfect at it, you're really good at it, and so on. And then you just can't understand why that person is thinking that way. And anyway, so going back to this, like we've been helping our clients with their stories and their messages for like ages now. And people always go like, yeah, I'm not comfortable to be in front of the camera, I don't know how to speak, and well, I don't know what to say, and all these things. And we're like, no, don't worry, like we'll help you with it. And that's easy. But then I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe we should just really practice what we preach here. Like really, really, really practice what we preach, and use kind of like the same format in a way, and just understand like, okay, cool. Like this is who I am. Just put the content out there. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. And the thing is, like, no one will really care, because at the end of the day, you are there to provide value and so on. So the plan was, okay, cool, let's use the same type of formats that we use for our clients. So two like really quick, simple formats that we use for our clients is like, for content videos, might be what, why, how. So like, what is the subject you're talking about? Why is it important? And then how do you go about it, right? And another one is like the hero's journey. And we use this a lot in our overview films and our case study videos and so on. And if you haven't, like, go watch like I think the previous 2 episodes where I talk about the hero's journey and like how we structured like desire, conflict, journey, solution, and results, and so on. So anyway, I'm like, okay, cool. Well, just start using those formats. Like then it becomes a lot easier. And it was still hard. Like even with the format, I was like, man, this is hard. But the thing is, like, I kept thinking about it. I'm like, what's the cost of not doing this, right? And I started thinking. I'm like, wow. At this rate, like I have meetings with people and so on, with prospects, and it's one-on-one. Like, let's say that meeting's for an hour, then you've got to think, well, half an hour before that you're mentally prepping, and then half an hour after that you're mentally prepping or traveling and so on. So boom, 2 hours gone. And then out of an 8-hour day, like how many people can you actually meet with? You can actually just meet with like 2 or 3 people, and then bring this kind of content over to them and so on. So I thought, okay, well, what's the cost of not doing these videos and not helping people? And I came to the realization, well, I can't even put a price on it, because if one, and I told this story a few episodes ago, where one client became aware of us and we converted them, and then they introduced us to 2 companies, which then they referred 12 more companies to us, and it's just ongoing. Like we're just getting more and more referrals from all this, and that's just produced like over 90 projects at this time. So it's crazy. So then when I start thinking, I'm like, okay, cool, well, if I create a content video and one person, or if I create a case study or an overview film of our business, and one company, right, buys into that, like that's potentially like 90 plus, projects that we're missing out on if we're not doing it. So I always take things back to like, before I get emotional and everything about it, I'm like, okay, what's the cost of not doing this? It's massive. So now, as a result, I've produced personally like hundreds of these type of content videos and podcasts and so on, and it's all on the blog. It's out there for people to see. Another thing is like we've got a whole library of like internal videos where we actually use it for to train our team a little bit better, like when new team members come on board. And then also the other thing is internal videos that we can actually send to clients to help and educate them even further. So it's not videos that are out there, but it's like once a client comes on board, we've got like training for them to really understand these things, and so they can become better at like their storytelling and so on as well. And then we've got internal videos that I use for prospecting. So again, videos that are not out there, but I'm like, okay, cool, I've got this prospect, I need to overcome maybe, let's say, this false belief. Let's say for example, like this podcast I'm doing right now, right? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get rid of your false belief of you hating the camera. And like, I'm honest here, like it's, I'm a lot better now. Like I'm talking to the camera now, and I'm not even thinking about it too much right now anymore. It's still daunting for me. However, I know like this is honest, like I've always struggled with this kind of thing. And it's been a false belief in my mind. Like, yeah, my grammar is not right, or my accent is funny and stuff like that, and that's probably why I shouldn't do video. That's a false belief. So again, if you can overcome some of these false beliefs in your clients' minds, like that is massive. And if you can create video and content just for that, And the way you mask it is you mask it with with story, number one, and number two is just really bringing value. Because at the end of the day, I know for a fact if you're watching or listening to this and you believe that, hey, I shouldn't be in front of the camera, I suck, I don't look good, or I don't sound good, and all these things, that's going to stop you. And again, what's that opportunity cost? Like, what are you missing out on? So if I can get you to overcome that fear and that false belief, then you are better off. Not so much me, because you might be watching this and we might never, ever, ever talk, ever. But the way I create value for you is you overcome this false belief, you create videos for yourself and your business, and you get more clients. So that's pretty cool. Now the other thing is, like, I'm more comfortable now. And honestly, I don't care. And literally one podcast ago or one video ago, I cared more than I care now. And the next episode, I'll care even less, honestly. The thing is, like, perfect equals like never do it, at the end of the day. So what do you want to choose? Like, don't do it or do it, if that makes sense. And if your answer is like, yeah, I want to do this, I don't want to miss out on this the possible lost opportunities, then it means like you don't need to be perfect at the end of the day. I do stress though that you have to do a lot of education and study around storytelling and how to do it effectively, because if you don't do it effectively, you will be, again, what's that lost opportunity of not telling a proper story or around proper framework. So that's where we can help. Like, number one, check out our website, look at all my podcasts that I've created now. I educate a lot about storytelling and so on. So that's probably your number one, like the first point of contact. Like, get clued up on like the storytelling and how to actually do it. And then like number two, if you don't have enough time, or if you want like someone to do it that is awesome, we go all around the world. Like BizVideo, our team goes all around the world. So there's really nothing stopping you from getting amazing stories. So I'm just opening your mind there. I mean, and even like, doesn't matter where you are. So let's say, for example, you're in America or so on. You might have awesome people over there that can tell your story. So it's just about like getting knowledge around how powerful storytelling is, what to look out for, and then engaging the right team. So yeah, just because like my sentence structure and my accent and everything is funny, it doesn't mean we don't get results for our clients. That's the other thing. So I might sound funny to you here. I definitely sound funny to myself. My sentence structures suck, like absolutely. But at the end of the day, if we go talk to like our clients and the way we're actually helping them, then I couldn't care less. I seriously couldn't care less. From a monetary point of view, like our clients have had millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of results, right? Based on our videos that we create for them and the stories that we create for them. And that is one aspect. Like, obviously from a results point of view, your money is, and revenue and so on is important, but what it's done for their businesses from a lifestyle point of view and so on, and creating a legacy and helping more people, that is what's like blowing me away. And I'm like, Corne, go in front of the camera, don't worry about it. So I hope I've inspired you a little bit about like getting getting over this little false belief that you might have about like, I hate being in front of the camera, I suck being in front of the camera, I don't look good, I don't sound good, and all those kind of things. I hope I've inspired you there. If you like this video, please go share it, please like it, please subscribe, please, if you're listening to this on podcast, please go hit a review on Apple, like iTunes podcasts and so on, and subscribe to the channels. I really appreciate it, guys, and have a fantastic day.